we would like to open this circle by honoring the Musqueam, Coast Salish, and Tsleil-Youth nations, the original stewards and wisdom keepers of our land.
Call upon my guides, guardians, angels, and beings of light to guide, protect, and direct. Protect this space, protect this land, protect this circle of healing, circle of light, circle of love, circle of celebration, circle of community. I call upon Maya Manja, Mother Waters. I ask you to help us to go with the flow, to accept all that is, to be totally clear in our minds, and to be firm in our connection with the force. I ask that this work connect us to our highest joy. I ask that this work reach far and wide. I ask that this work connect our will to thy will, our will to thy will of the divine, the realm of win-win-win, where it's good for all. And I ask that this work connect us to the mission of our soul, fully revealing our package of light, our package of love, our flavor in this lifetime, for the highest benevolent outcome for all, much greater than we could have ever imagined before. Amen, aho, and so it shall be.
So it shall be.
Spirit keepers of the South, be with us always. Share with us your essence of unconditional love, kindness, mercy, compassion, healing, white light, and seed-level consciousness. Welcome. Spirit keepers of the North, be with us always. Share with us your essence of strength, might, courage, and the power of discernment. The power of discernment, knowing what to do and what not to do. Welcome. Spirit keepers of the East, be with us always. Share with us your essence of beauty, balance, all forms of sustenance, the guidance from the enlightened ones, and the power of the central column of restriction. Welcome. Spirit keepers of the West, be with us always. Share with us your essence of renewal, restoration, redemption, and the power of manifestation. Welcome. Father Sky, the heavens, the divine masculine, the dimensions of Zeranpin, Hesed Gevurah Tiferet Netzach Hod Yesod, Father of all that is, allow us to be your bridge, to bring your light into the Mother, Mother Earth, Pachamama, the divine feminine, the dimension of Malhut, our kingdom, nature, and all the plantas kirachivas that she provides. Welcome.
Wow. I gotta say, well, we're here today, Conscious Living Radio. We're doing it a little differently, and I would like to say my name is Mark Curran, and because we're doing things differently and we have different times and different things that we're doing, what a way to bring in the show. I think that was probably one of the best introductions I've ever been part of. So I thank you guys for that. Welcome to Conscious Living Radio. If this airs on Co-op Radio, we never know with what's going on in the world today, but we're just creating it to be everywhere. And Conscious Living Radio, 100.5 FM CFRO in Vancouver. We might be airing sometime there. If not, you can just see us here on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever we're going to share this video. So today, I'm really honored and proud to be able to introduce and share the gifts of a couple of great friends, and one is actually one of our homemates here in our Conscious Living community home. And it's one thing that I'm always grateful about, especially in these times where we're kind of self-isolated and doing our quarantine thing. It's nice to live in community and have such great talent and great skills and things that we can actually keep ourselves engaged and really enjoy each other's gifts. It's kind of why we're really here today. So first off, I'd like to introduce Miryam and Adam. Adam and Miryam are part of the Yorro Yorro tribe. Miryam considers herself, she uses the word a ceremonialist, which I love because it really opens up a number of different things, and her skills are quite vast and quite impactful. And Adam, I don't know, you're a musician,
I don't even know half the time.
Exactly. All I know is Adam is. He just is. And he brings a spirit and a light to the work that they do. They play music and do ceremonies and different things of that nature. And today I'm just here to really introduce them to our community, their gifts, and some of the work we're going to be doing in the future. So thank you very much for joining me, guys.
Thanks for having us, Mark.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So maybe you can start by sharing with us, really who you are, what got you into being a ceremonialist, and most specifically, what is a ceremonialist?
Wow. I feel like I've spent half a lifetime preparing for this work. My interaction and establishment with the connection with Spirit and my communication with Spirit started around the year 2000 with about 7 years of intensive fasting, and it's experiencing Spirit through fasting, and then also a intensive journey with the Kabbalah, which is universal wisdom that predates all religions, ancient universal wisdom. My Kabbalistic teacher, Rabbi Joseph, I was spending about 15 years 15 years with him, in essence of like 10 plus hours a week, learning how to interact with Spirit and communicate with Spirit, and working with prayer and song and celebration. And yeah, this was the preparation of my soul for this work.
Beautiful.
So, as regarding what is a ceremonialist, in the eyes of Miryam, that is a bridge. Yeah, a bridge. One who knows how to bridge between the heavens and the earth. This connection between the divine feminine and the divine masculine within ourselves, this divine union within ourselves. And I think that's
That sums it up, does it?
That's a good circle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
very nice.
beautiful. I love how you said "in the eyes of Miryam." I thought that was really good. Got to get used to looking at the camera because it's up over here. We're doing things differently again. And how about you, Adam? How about your story?
Sure, yeah. Like Miryam, I've been on a journey to connect with my inner spirit for many years now. And I'm very fortunate to have found the beauty of song as medicine early on that journey, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Coming from a musician background, ever since I was 9 years old, the guitar was put in my hands and I said, that's what I want to do with my life.
Nice.
I want to share music, record music, and use the medicine of sound. Although at the time I didn't know it was medicine. I thought it was cool. So on that note, y'all, the things you found cool when you were young, they're medicine.
Yeah.
Tap back in there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so, you know, for many years I was singing kirtan and started steeping myself in the Indian tradition. And yada, 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 fast forward a little bit, around 2019. Can also say I'm very fortunate to have found a deep place of peace inside of myself. Just the end of last year was a very big year for me, very big. And on the winter solstice, I met this one. Literally a week after, I found that space inside of my heart. And ever since, both of our conjoined efforts to connect with ourselves up into this point have come together into this beautiful correlation that we're birthing as, like you said, the Yorro Yorro tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not always just Miryam and I. You know, there's a big community of us that have many gifts to share. And I just want to say how blessed I am to be here right now to give a little taste of what it is that we like to share with the Yorro Yorro tribe. And as this conversation goes, we may speak a little bit more about what the essence of Yorro Yorro is.
Yes, we'll definitely
Yeah.
get into that a little bit more for sure.
Yeah.
Well, wow, thank you for that share. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of sitting with Miryam and Adam myself in some ceremonies we've done while we've been isolated here because we got to keep physically distant. You notice I didn't say socially distant because we like to be socially close and physically distant. I think that's an important linguistic difference. And in that, we have the opportunity to do this great work, the self-work, right? And this is the one thing I think is a great opportunity about this time as the world slows down. We have this opportunity to expand from the inside out, you know? And I'm just blessed and so grateful to be, you know, living the way that we do, to have the opportunity. And that's why we're here to share they're going to share some music in a little bit, and we're going to talk about some more things we got going on in the future. But we just want to share their gifts because it's magical. The music will take you away. It's very trance-like and very, connect with spirit. So let's talk about what is the Yorro Yorro tribe. What is that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's been a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, I must say. There is a great group of us in Vancouver here, Mark being one of them, that have really been hearing a strong calling that it's time to share these gifts that we've been sharing with each other on a bigger scale. And from time to time, you know, Miryam has been holding ceremonial containers for quite a long time. And those containers are not just about the music, although the music is a timeless way to string the wisdom together. It is really a platform for many different gifted magicians out there to be able to share the secrets for a better way of life.
Oh, absolutely.
And we started juggling a little bit about what that container wants to, what's the essence of that container? What are we really doing with that? And I personally stumbled upon a very special podcast, which I'll mention a little bit later, that was talking about this Australian Indigenous Aboriginal concept of Yorro Yorro. And it's part of their epistemology of the way the Indigenous peoples of Australia think, because they have, for 75,000 years, had a practicing culture of understanding that everything inherently has spirit. And as stewards of this land, it is our responsibility to know the songs of all things that are alive, and to sing the songs of all things that are alive, so that all things can stand up alive. All things can dance together. And that's what Yorro Yorro means. And singing is one aspect of Yorro Yorro. But it means everything standing up alive, and what we're here to do is to do just that. We want all your cells to dance. We want all the cells of the trees to dance. We want all of the birds to sing. And these medicine songs from all different cultures are our way of doing that.
Well said. Fantastic. Go ahead. You
I just wanted to, if you can just touch upon the story about the Yorro Yorro.
I wanted to do that when we play a special song, but you know what? Since you brought it up, let's talk about it.
Right.
Yeah. Because I wasn't gonna let that go. You got to give respect to Miryam Andrews, who she's a really, her name is Miryam Andrews. Everyone, look her up. She's a keeper of, and an author too, of Indigenous Australian wisdom. And she was the one, along with Gordon White, who runs this podcast called Rune Soup, introduced me to the concept of Yorro Yorro, because it's been in her lineage since the dawn of time. And she runs these workshops in Australia. And this is big magic. Y'all. She runs these workshops in Australia, and she was doing a workshop on singing country. They call it singing country, when they're singing the land, the way that their traditional ancestors knew how to sing the land.
Unlike American country. Just saying.
Well,
but American country, you get your dog back. If you play those records backwards, you get your dog back, you get your wife back, you get your house back, things like that. And
I gotta try that.
And I think this country is a lot different.
I gotta try that. It's the original country. Yeah, the 75,000 years ago country.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Munya holds these workshops on her land and on different lands, and she teaches people how to sing country and what it means to connect your heart with the song in a way that you're communing with the spirit of things. And this is just a great story in the book, in the Book of Magic on Our Planet. But they were doing a certain song ceremony in, I can't remember which region of Australia. And a week later, their newspaper published that scientists were baffled because this bird that was said to be extinct came back. And all of a sudden it was habitating again in its natural habitat. And one of the girls that was at the ceremony called Munya and said, "Munya, what did we do? This bird is back. And they don't understand how it's coming back." And she said, "That's Yorro Yorro." She said, "Oh, that's big magic, isn't it?" She said, "Yes, it is. Yes, it is." And to really know with all of your heart that the power of song and the power of sharing creative essence when you're doing it, to bring life and to see the enchantment in everything, it works. Mm-hmm. It works. Yeah. And it's this work for me is as much for me as it is for anyone else, because I'm still, every day I sit down and practicing what it means to actually connect my heart in a deeper way that we're bringing forward. So I'll mention it again, but her name is Miryam Andrews. The podcast that inspired me through that is called Rune Soup. And big shout out to Gordon White for being one of the greatest modern magicians we have.
Nice, well said. Do you have anything to add to that, Miryam? Well,
she is Yorro Yorro.
I think it's fascinating, and you articulated it really well, Adam, in the sense of how singing is healing, sound is healing, music is healing, dance is healing. And if we look through Aboriginal cultures from the beginning of time, they've always been singing and dancing. The Icaros of, the tribes of South America and their medicine work. And you talk about the spirit of all things, all living things. There's plant spirit medicine, of things that we talk about. Some of the things that have brought us all together is spirit plant medicine.
Yeah.
Because I first met Miryam, it was, that would have been 2017, after the Spirit Plant Medicine Conference. And Miryam actually led a cannabis ceremony for the volunteers of that event. And we had a beautiful Selena. We had a beautiful ceremony that night, and I was just like, wow, because that was actually probably my first introduction into a cannabis ceremony. So for me, it was really different to use cannabis in a very different way. And then we probably maybe crossed paths a little bit. She came in and actually supported Stephen Gray in the first cannabis ceremony we did in our home. I remember that day as well. So for me, it's what I love is, Paul Stamets would say the mycelium, right? The network that brings us all together in the plant medicine world. And here we are being able to share all of our gifts in a way to our community for exactly what you articulated so well, is for the healing and transformation of all of us. And music is such a powerful way to do that. So I thank you and honor you for bringing that gift. But maybe, we talk about music. You guys want to play a tune? Because one thing, he actually acknowledged all the traditions. And that's the one thing that I really like about their music, is they bring all sorts of different, I don't even want to say religions, but spiritual...
Cultures.
Sorry?
Cultures,
yeah. And... it's beautiful to hear these things, and part of my spiritual practice being the Mula Mantra that was from my oneness days. We sat here one night and Miryam pulled it out, and it was like a jungleized version. It was awesome. And you just don't hear that very often these days. So to hear these, the way all of it crosses over, and the way you've brought it all together to be kind of less dogmatic in a sense, is really beautiful. So maybe... tell the folks what you're going to sing, if it has any meaning. I'll leave it to you. I'm just going to sit and enjoy, as I hope you guys do too.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Two things are coming to mind, actually. One is, we truly believe that every culture that's touched our planet had gifts to bring to humanity. And not necessarily, they were... All of these songs, the reason we like to share so many is because humanity as a whole. And every culture had a gift and part of that circle. And that circle is what we represent here. And you also mentioned the Icaros.
Yeah.
So it's funny that the first song we had pulled up here is from that lineage.
Well, that's just being tapped in and tuned in to what's going on.
Yeah. Big shout out to all our birdie friends, all the wingy ones. Shout out to you who's watching. Das águas de onde vem para onde vai, vou fazer a minha limpeza no coração, está o meu Pai. For das águas de onde vem para onde vai, vou fazer a minha limpeza no coração, está o meu Pai. A morada do meu Pai no coração do mundo, onde existe todo o amor e temos segredo profundo. A morada do meu Pai no coração do mundo, onde existe todo o amor e temos segredo profundo. Este segredo profundo está em toda a humanidade. Se todos se conheceram aqui dentro da verdade. Este segredo profundo está em toda a humanidade. Se todos se conheceram aqui dentro da verdade. Fazer a minha limpeza no coração está o meu Pai. A morada do
segredo profundo. Este segredo profundo está em toda a humanidade. Se todos se conhecerem aqui dentro da verdade. Flor das águas, da onde vem para onde vai. Por fazer a minha limpeza no coração está o meu Pai. A morada do meu Pai e no coração de um monge, onde existe todo o amor e temos segredo profundo. Este segredo profundo está em toda a humanidade. Se todos se conhecerem aqui dentro da verdade.
Wow. Wow. Well, for those of you joining us, maybe now or on air later, that was a great live rendition. If you're listening on the radio at one point, 100.5 CFRO in Vancouver, Co-op Radio. Conscious Living's been airing there for 12 years now, every week, every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We've had tons of content, lots of great guests. And they're actually a volunteer-run organization. And we really get by on donations and fundraising. So if, considering they're in their spring, at the end of their spring fundraiser drive, if you feel called to supporting Co-op Radio so we can keep bringing you better and better programming and upgrade some equipment, that would be great. You can go to coopradio.org or consciousliving.radio.org and make a donation. I know it would definitely be appreciated, even in these times when times might be tough for some other folks. So we thank you for that. But wow, you guys are amazing. And
Takes one to know one, bro.
as my grandmother always said, birds of a feather flock together, right? And that you're talking about birds and the song of the birds, so it kind of resonated with me.
Oh, actually, since you brought that up, I forgot to mention what that song means.
Okay.
I like to say the birds because it's got the whistling in it.
Yeah.
I love that part. But the song we just sang, it means water your flower. The light is inside of you, the light is inside of me, and that's the great secret of life. So water your flower.
Water your flower, yeah. Because what happens when you don't water your flowers in the garden, folks? They die. Or they certainly don't produce what you want them to produce necessarily, right?
Yeah.
So there's some basic innate wisdom right there.
Yeah.
So, we talked about plant medicines, we talk about these things, we talk about where we met in the cannabis ceremony, and now cannabis is legal in Canada, so it becomes a whole different kind of opportunity. And the one thing that was really powerful for me was taking a look at cannabis in a much more sacred and historic way as a medicine, right? And as a spiritual ally. So I don't know, Miryam, if you want to share anything about, your experience in that and, the importance of or the benefits of even sitting in ceremony using cannabis as a spiritual ally.
Yes. Well, I was venturing down the road of some experiments with cannabis in my younger years, in my late teens and early 20s. And at that time, I didn't understand how it works. And the plant was exposing all my misalignments in consciousness. And I would come up with excuses like that, I was having bad experiences and coming up with excuses that cannabis gives me anxiety. And all these different things that it was exposing to me. And then what went away from cannabis actually became quite anti-cannabis. Mm-hmm. Yeah, until later years. Just being recommended actually to check out cannabis again as a plant ally, actually, what had fueled that fire to reconnect with it was a loved one who was ill and had a lot of pain. And so we started running some experiments, working with the cannabis for pain. And the person that I was helping at the time wasn't very energetically sensitive, but I am, thank heavens, and have that's established a connection with spirit and communication with spirit. And so I started testing actually different strains on behalf of this person to find the appropriate strain because there's so many different strains.
Rough job testing strains of cannabis.
So yeah, started running some experiments, testing some strains, and what I discovered that in my more mature years, and my that cannabis was acting with me much differently than in my younger years, and really helping me to. Yeah, I guess to take me out of my current states of perception, really help me to tune in more deeply to myself and to that inner guidance with the power of song and with cannabis. I was able to enter into the silence of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to really empty the mind, and that's something that I've learned to do quite quickly. It's just to empty into the mind and really to get to that place, like the artist's canvas, like the blank artist's canvas,
Yeah.
where yeah, the place where you can receive insights and downloads, and but the key is really that emptying the mind.
It's huge, and you know, I just want to share some of my personal experience in a way, because you said something in the beginning in terms of that, you know, how we all kind of started off in our 20s or maybe our teens, and depending where you're at, but how we used cannabis as, you know, it was more of a recreational thing almost. And she, because it's a feminine essence plant, serves up these messages, but we're so busy being busy, I found, you know, and being outside of ourselves with it, to really tune in. And then when I started, and this was my experience, is when I started actually using it in that sense from a spiritual practice and going in with it. And this is what I've learned, you know, sitting in silence or sitting with Stephen Gray or in different meditative spaces, you have a chance to actually go in with it, right? And
Yes.
versus kind of being out and distracted. And Stephen Gray, he always laughs at me because he always says, "What was your experience, Mark?" And I always laugh and I said, "Well, I'm always surprised at how so little can take me so far, right? Because it's never about mass consumption in these, you know, events or these ceremonies, but it's amazing how just a little bit of the right medicine can be like,
Yeah.
see you later."
Yeah.
Right? And then the music, the sound, the guidance.
Yeah.
And, you know, what I love about your guys' stuff is, you know, it's like music from beginning to end. These guys don't take you know, they breathe because they have to. But the music just goes, and the first one we sat in there about 3 hours, right? You know, we went pretty long, pretty hard. It was pretty fantastic. So I just
As long as Spirit wants.
yeah, well, exactly. Spirit has its own mind, and sometimes when you're setting a clock to things, you know, Spirit understands that too. But when you don't have to set a clock, Spirit likes that even more, right? But yeah, so for me, it's like, what's next for you guys? I know you got a couple of projects on the go, right? One's your Yorro tribe. You're bringing some people and doing some song stuff, and I know you're working on a project singing for Sangha.
Yeah.
Maybe you can share more about that if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mark. Yeah, you know, it's these times we're in right now, the whole COVID experience we're having in this self-isolation, and not to mention just, you know, astrologically moving into a period of time we haven't been in 800 years. There's many cycles actually we're moving into that we've been in a long time, and I think the entire world is watching themselves and their communities giving birth to a new way of connecting and a new way of offering their gifts. And so that I was riding that wave for a bit, and what came through me was a project called Singing for Sangha that is really a platform for the Yorro Yorro tribe and others. And the vision is that we can bring song circles, which, you know, Miryam has been holding down Song Circle in Vancouver for many years, teaching people these songs and creating a really safe habitat for people to come share their voices. You know, regardless of where they come from or their creed or their circumstance. But I feel like that's such an important way for us to carry this torch together. And Sangha is an ancient Tibetan word that means a community that has come together to practice loving kindness, awareness, and compassion. And that means all of the bickering that goes on too, right? Because that's ground zero for exercising our compassion.
Yeah.
But I felt like Sangha was the most beautiful way to express that, because the singing circles and what we want to do really is allow communities to have access to this everywhere, and have a place to come sing. You know, in some ways I don't like saying this because it feels dogmatic and a little too early, but to me it kind of feels like a church for the modern age.
Yeah.
You know, one that isn't so secluded in a certain dogmatic way of thinking, but
Well,
just...
I'm willing to bet if we got back to the origins of the word church and really picked it apart, not that I know specifically, but I think I might look into it now because I'm curious at what it really means. Because my gut tells me right now, church probably isn't a dogmatic term.
It's a congregation.
Right, exactly.
It's a congregation to celebrate our connection with Spirit at the end of the day. And so Singing for Sangha is going to come out quite soon. Quite soon. We just, you know, all the little processes that go on to put it together are happening. But that is something that we're really excited to bring the Yorro Yorro tribe into. And, you know, part of that all coming together has been, you know, sharing space with you for the last little bit, Mark. And I think that, you know, what we're going to do together coming up is going to be a really wonderful, you know, cast of the stone in that pond. So I'm going to throw the torch back to you for a second. Unless, and, you know, if you want to say something too, please.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, these circles, there's no requirement to sing, but while we see, we have seen great benefits in people that do come to sing, and you don't have to be a good singer. It's about using, like, your voice as your own, like, internal tuning fork to tune your body, to raise your vibration. And ultimately, at the essence of this circle is to teach people to become the medicine, so that they are the medicine, so that, you know, anytime they can drop a song and, like, just shift their vibration and then approach their situation from wherever they're at from a higher road.
I'm laughing because as she says that, I'm thinking about every time I sit with these folks and their music, for days I got a few tunes just rolling around in my head always. I catch myself humming them and pretending to sing them because I don't know all the words.
It's working.
But I think it's really powerful what you said in terms of our voice. And if there's one thing we need to, as people, as human beings, is express ourselves even more. And it's always beautiful to see people in circle, even if it's a sharing circle, a song circle. When people get that opportunity to feel and, well, to express themselves freely, authentically, in a safe, sacred space where they can be heard, it's amazing to see the gift of transformation that can happen. And song is that too, because all of a sudden I kind of know, and I'm like mumbling a bit until you get to that point, and then you're just belting it out, and at the end of the night it's just like, woo!
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, if you haven't done anything like that out there watching, do it. If it's not with these folks, do it with someone. Find a place to sing, because I bet you sing in the shower. I bet you sing in the car. Right? So sing for Sangha, sing for Yorro Yorro, sing for the planet, sing for yourself.
Thank you.
Right? Absolutely.
That's it.
So what we are going to do, we had a little meeting the other night, and we're having a conversation because we started doing the online cannabis ceremonies, which if anybody's watching is tonight with Stephen Gray. We're doing it again because it was quite well received. And we're looking at new ways to be able to bring everybody's gifts to people while we can't congregate and you know, in groups. And what we're going to do is, you know, it's going to turn into probably a weekly kind of event. Right now we're calling it Cannabis Night Live. And the first official one of those is going to be next Saturday, May 2nd, where we're going to have a special guest, Surya Light, with you. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
A living
Surya,
angel.
yes, I've met Surya, and I was blessed to sit in ceremony up in Kaslo with her, and I was, you know, it was a rough life for me because I was between Surya Light and Theta Phoenix as they were putting 30 people to song, and I was in the middle of it, right there. So for me, I was like, how better, you know, this doesn't get any better. Anyways, that being said, you know, it's going to be kind of like a musical meditation. Maybe you can describe what we can expect, because it'll be a couple hours long.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll be ceremony.
It'll be ceremony.
Oh, a ceremonialist.
To the ceremonialist. Miryam's kind of quiet sometimes, and when she's not quiet is when she sings.
Yeah, great power comes in silent.
Absolutely.
Silent treads.
I know, the strong silent type.
Yeah, Surya's a good friend of ours, and we love working with her and bringing good vibes together. One of our medicine sisters, and
Is Trinity going to be with us?
I don't think so. I think it'll just be Surya in this. Yeah. So yeah, we're excited to collaborate with her, And she also works with a multicultural experience as well, singing in many languages. We sing in Hebrew, Sanskrit, also Portuguese, Spanish,
Lakota.
some Lakota, some Shipibo.
And for those of you like me, English too.
English,
sometimes.
yes, there is some English.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really bringing a multicultural experience with the intention to connect to the one race, like the human race. And may us humans be more humane
And we're
to
going to
each
set
other.
up a beautiful scene. Are we going to do it here?
I think we're going to try to go from our studio that we've been
yes.
preparing for a little
Yes,
bit.
but you're welcome to join us there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
What we're doing too is we're learning how to up production value, keep it simple so that we can deliver you the best possible sound and experience online. It's a learning curve for all of us, and we're looking to find the way. So we're always open to feedback. If anybody knows any good tips, tricks, apps, and things like that, how do we make it better? Because that's one of my primary questions. Yeah,
sharing the wisdom.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you summed it up quite perfectly. All I'll say is it'll be a night to honor the medicine, especially if you're like me and it took my relationship, like many people with cannabis, was a certain thing in high school, and then there was like a 6-year hiatus, and then there was a healing of that relationship, and it's helping me to uncover and go deeper into myself. And so tonight will not just be an experience of celebrating the medicine and celebrating what it does for us, but finding new ways and to make that connection.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and you talk about that connection with cannabis, and to me that was one of the things when I learned about ayahuasca and started my journey with plant medicines. I thought, I heard about, addiction and things and all of these things that it helps heal. And I went in there with the intention, actually, it's time for me to stop smoking, right? To stop smoking cannabis because, it was part of my life. And what she showed me was that I didn't have to quit it, but I had to respect and honor her, right? Because I wasn't. It was becoming a vice. And this was the same thing. We had a Flavio Tabacalera. He was a fire boy, sweeper boy, all sorts of things from the jungle, but his family were tobacco curanderos, basically. And that's what he said. Tobacco itself is not bad, and it's one of those things. It's when it becomes a vice, and the way we've taken it now in North America, which becomes a whole different thing. And that was my experience, and really learning to honor and listen to the plants. When you talk about Icaros and the music, and it all comes together, and the songs of the plants, and of nature and things.
Yeah.
So
beautifully said.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that next Saturday, May 2nd. And probably do some more as things go, and you guys will get out there a little bit more and share your gifts, which we're looking forward to. Is there anything else you want to share? Because we could probably talk about all sorts of things. I love the conch that Miryam blew earlier today. It's one thing, she always blows me away with that beauty.
Fibonacci sequence right there.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
No, the history of the conch goes back to like Krishna and things. Krishna would blow the conch, and probably even before that, you would probably know a little bit more there. But
Krishna liked to play the flute, actually.
Yeah, but did he also blow the conch?
I gotta check in with the scholars on that. But
I know, I thought I read somewhere, but throughout India, they've been blowing the conch
sure,
and stuff,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
For some reason, I recalled that. I could be wrong. I've read enough books, but I don't remember all the details.
Isn't there also? Oh, it's a ram's horn blowing they do in the Hebrew tradition, right?
Yeah. It's always interesting. So you guys want to play us another tune or two? What do you feel like sharing?
Let's just check in for a second, see if there's any stone left unturned.
Yeah. And we brought in some of the plants that we honor. We have some San Pedro cactus behind us here. We have some other, I don't know the actual name of it, but we have some little grandfathers. Just honoring the medicine.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm personally quite content with everything that was said. I'll pass the floor one more time for everybody before I say a little closing words before we...
Yeah, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Mark and to the Conscious Living Network for hosting us here and providing this platform and opportunity for us to get out there, to come out of the closet, get outside of people's living rooms, and to be take on a bit more of a public position, and just to reach more people. And this work has benefited us greatly in our personal development, in our evolution, in our connection with spirit, and we are super excited, for this opportunity. Super grateful,
Great.
super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Do you have anything more to say before I say a couple of things?
I'll say some words that'll take us into the music, so you go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank both of you for, making the time, and we've been talking about this for a little while, and, now is the time to bring together, so I thank and honor you for stepping up and having the courage. I know it's not always easy when you're going live to whoever knows who's watching around the world at any given point in time, but I honor you for the courage to share your gifts, and I urge you to share them more, and because the world needs what you guys are bringing, right? The world needs more and more and more of it. The more we can shine the light, the more we can bring these gifts and experience to people, it helps just create a better humanity for all of us. And the one thing we do at Conscious Living Network is anything that we do has got to be educational, because I believe there's a foundation of understanding. How deep you want to go down in that, I think that's up to the individual. I believe it's got to be experiential, because experience is always the best teacher.
Experience
That's what they
twice
say.
learning, yeah.
Exactly. And then it's got to be transformational. Now let's learn something, let's experience what we learn, and let's use that to transform our lives and the lives of others. And in that being said, transforming humanity. Because humanity needs us, needs the light, needs more love, care, compassion, gratitude, empathy, joy, and bliss, and no more fear. That's what we need in the world today. And that's by bringing together everything that we do here, by sharing and just bringing what it is that we do, what we love, because I want everybody to be as happy as me. That being said, you've been listening to Conscious Living Radio, 100.5 CFRO FM in Vancouver, Co-op Radio. Thanks for watching, and we're going to go out with some great music by Adam and Miryam and the Yorro Yorro tribe.
One more big shout out to one of the greatest magicians out there, whom I mentioned before. But this song really encapsulates the spirit of Yorro Yorro, the spirit of everything being alive, getting up and dancing. And Munya Andrews, thank you. That's M-U-N-Y-A Andrews. You look her up, Munya Andrews and Gordon White. Two legends in my books.
All the other wizards and magicians out there looking to get their minds blown and hearts opened. This is where it's at.
Yeah, this is for you, magicians, wizards, goblins, sorceresses. Time for magic is now. Cuando la luna redonda está, se ilumina la oscuridad. Cuando la luna redonda está, se ilumina la oscuridad. Vienen de lejos este lugar, magos y duendes a concordar. Vienen de lejos este lugar, magos y duendes a realizar. Que me crezcan alas, que me hablen los magos. Quiero estar presente en todo momento. Que me crezcan alas, que me hablen los magos. Quiero estar presente cuando salga el sol. Can y'all see the wizards dancing? Oh yeah. Cuando la luna redonda está, se ilumina la oscuridad. Cuando la luna redonda está, se ilumina la oscuridad. Vienen de lejos este lugar, magos y duendes a concordar. Vienen de lejos este lugar, magos y duendes a realizar. Que me crezcan alas, que me hablen los magos. Quiero estar presente the magicians.
Imagine 3 hours of that.
And now we're all collectively going to invite in that life can be easy. That life can be easy because it's not all up to us. There are many great forces out there that are working in our benefit. We just have to entertain them. We just have to remember them. You know, life becomes enchanted because you enchant it.
And there's no coercion in our spiritual interaction. We must ask.
We must ask. So let us
I
ask.
suppose you didn't look at me there.
Let us ask the grace, strength, Lord Ganesh, to help us to remove any obstacles that are standing in the way of our highest expression. Right now. Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam, Sharanam. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Sharanam Ganesha. Ganapati, Ganapati, Ganapataye, Ganapataye, Ganapati, Ganapati, Ganapataye, Ganapataye. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam, Sharanam. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Sharanam Ganesha. Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Sharanam Ganesha. Ganapati, Ganapati, Ganapataye, Ganapataye, Ganapati, Ganapati, Ganapataye, Ganapataye. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam, Sharanam. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Sharanam Ganesha. Ganapati, Ganapati, Ganapataye, Ganapataye, Ganapati, Ganapati, Ganapataye, Ganapataye. One more time for Ganesh. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam, Sharanam. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Sharanam Ganesha. Sharanam Ganesha. Sharanam Ganesha. Sharanam Ganesha. Jai Ganesh. Woo! Strong force.
Viva Ganesh.
Ganapati,
Ganapati.
Wow.
Hope y'all can feel our love.
Oh,
Our
I can
flavor,
feel
a
it.
little bit of jungle, Sanskrit, a little bit of gangsta, Las Magos.
Oh, yeah.
And Ganesha is the remover of all obstacles.
Hi.
So it's a beautiful...
Strongest animal there is.
Yes, so beautiful way to kind of finish off our session here today. I'm sitting here always dumbfounded, mesmerized, and feeling full of love and light right now. So I really appreciate your gifts and sharing today, taking your Saturday afternoon to do what it is that we do during these interesting times. So thank you very much for watching. For those of you tuning in maybe on the air, we're Conscious Living Radio, 100.5 CFRO in Vancouver, Co-op Radio. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
That's
Thanks.
it.
Thank you.
Can I say
Yes,
one more thing,
absolutely. You
actually?
may.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, if you're interested in keeping up with what's going to go on with Singing for Sangha and you want to join our online singing community, we're still working out the details, but you can visit www.singingforsangha.com and just throw in your email and you'll be part of the list and you'll be first to know when we start getting these going.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll drop a link in the comments here. We'll get a page up here for Conscious Living Radio as well. You can get some more information, some links and everything there.
Yeah. Thanks so much,
Awesome.
Mark.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thank you guys for taking the time and taking the courage to show up and
Thanks
do
for
this.
tuning in,
Yeah,
everyone.
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much,
everyone.
guys.
Have a blessed Saturday.
Take care.